What's up, Fox Trotters? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new here, welcome, welcome. If you're returning, hello. It's nice to see you all again. You guys look great. Yes, you person who just realized you got to work and forgot your lunch. But no worries, because the office ordered catering today. You're gonna be just fine. You look great. I hope everyone's doing wonderful today, wherever you are, whatever you're going through, whatever you're doing, if you're home, work, school. I am excited to bring to you an r/anti-MLM classic trash video. Very exciting stuff. And yes, there is AdvoCare in this video today. Hurrah! So I do have a chart in the beginning, an AdvoCare chart, the compensation breakdown that you'll see. And then at the end, I have a longer story. So about someone who was involved in AdvoCare and what happened to their life because of it. So very good stuff. I am excited for you all to be here with me to enjoy this. And let's go ahead and get into it, guys.
So, I had surgery on my legs this morning, had to remove some veins. All is well, don't worry. But the funny thing is, while I was getting ready for surgery, one of the nurses looked at me and said, "I recognize you. Aren't you the lady that sells that amazing mascara? Cry face. I'm becoming famous. Haha. Happy Friday, people."
Yeah, I'll take, that didn't happen for $500, Alex. Yeah. No, I guarantee that did not happen. I mean, I guess there's a very small chance, there's a little outlier, that I guess it could have happened. I guess technically anything's possible in this universe, but I mean, the probability of it, very slim. Yeah, it's really funny when you see these posts. This is not the first time I've seen this. I've seen a post once. It was, I think it was Color Street, right? Is that the nail sticker one? And it was someone who had been admitted to the hospital, and they claimed that the nurse noticed how great their nails were or something, and she was like, "Oh darn, should have brought a business card." And it's like, I just don't believe that happened exactly like you say it happened. I feel like maybe some things have been taken out of context. I don't know. Well, you know, I guess they say perception is reality, so maybe they really believe it. I don't know.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, boo. I was just wondering if you were willing to make a couple dollars.
A couple dollars? That's odd.
I know it's random, but I've worked with a lot of people, and I could guarantee you at least $1,000 today.
Today? All right.
If you'd be willing. I don't need any personal information from you. I don't care for your bank account. Everything is super legit, all cash.
Wow, I've never heard a statement that makes me think that this is an illegitimate process more.
Let me know if you're interested, and I can get into detail.
Can I just send you my Venmo and you can put the $1,000 in up front?
And why would I just hand you $1,000 again?
That's a good question. You'd be putting faith in my skills. If you can guarantee me at least $1,000, then I'll take the $1,000 up front and you can pocket the rest. The $1,000 shouldn't be an issue since it's guaranteed. Good one. That post sounded really weird, didn't it? That was, the language on that was strange, very fishy sounding. I have no idea what MLM this is for or what it is, but it definitely smells like some kind of scam. Absolutely. Especially with the, "Hey," and then a day later they said, "Hey," and then they said, "Hey, boo." It's like, all right, sure. Okay. I guess we're on that level. And I like how they say that they don't need any personal information. I don't care for your bank account. Like, well, that's an interestingly structured sentence, but either way, this is definitely a scam, and I'm really glad that the person responded the way they did. It's, yeah, just why don't you Venmo me that money directly, since you're not going to lose out either way. So it's a win-win, right? Right? And it's like, crickets. Suddenly I hear the sound of crickets. Okay, I know everyone is definitely excited about some AdvoCare knowledge. I am too. This has all been very exciting. This is just the, I believe the commission report that was released within all these documents, of course. And this stuff has all been, you know, this is stuff that is public knowledge. Anybody can find this stuff online, or at least they're supposed to be transparent. They're supposed to have this stuff published. But in the recent court case, all this stuff has just come flooding out into the light. Now everyone can just see it open and freely, and it's incredible. So this is just the compensation structure. So, okay, of 2017. So let's go ahead and look at this chart here. So we have one column is the number of distributors, and the other column is percentage of distributors. And then it shows the amount of income that they make over in the far left column. So at the very little top there, at $0 income for the year of 2017, there were about 260,000, I'm obviously approximating here, 260,000 distributors who were at that ranking, who were in that income bracket. That's about 67% of the distributors in total. That means well over half of the people who worked for, quote unquote, so distributed, we'll say distributed for AdvoCare, well over half of the people who distributed for AdvoCare made $0. Okay, so that sounds bad, right? Well, just go down to the very next row and it gets, worse. So the amount of people who made less than a cent to $200, so 1 penny to $200 over here, that was about 77,000 distributors. Okay, that's 20% of the distributors in total. So already with these two, with the people who are making $0 to the people who are making 1 cent to $200, we're already at almost 100%. I mean, we're on the line there. We're at 87%. Yeah, we're at about 87% of the people made less than $200. Oh wait, it gets worse. I mean, I would bore you and go through the whole graph, but you can clearly see it just gets worse. So people who make $201 to $500 make up about 6%, and so on, all the way down to where we will say a legitimate income. I will say anywhere between, like, once it gets to 20,000 to 50,000, you're talking actual money, like, you know, money where, you know, you could actually live off of, maybe not like raise a family comfortably, but like, you know, there's some basic necessities you'd be able to cover at that amount. About 618 people in 2017 made between $20,000 to $50,000. That's pathetic. That's pathetic. That's absolutely pathetic. So if we were to add up how many people made over 20,000 in this whole scale, we're talking less than 1% of the people made over $20,000. It's awful. That's terrible. I'm glad all this has come out. This is a good thing. I'm sure anyone who was involved in AdvoCare and has since failed out of it is not surprised by any of this news whatsoever. But anyways, I have a little AdvoCare story later, a bit of a longer post later in the video, more towards the end. So if you're into this AdvoCare stuff, then hang on for that. Sends a screenshot saying they only test on animals in China to convince me that they are cruelty-free.
Hi, Stacy. This is Audra with Mary Kay. I don't think we've met, but Caitlin said that the text is the best way to reach you. She was gifted with 2 $25 gift cards with a complimentary facial and wanted one of them to go to you. Should I text or call you with details? P.S. I normally send you a photo of us so you know I'm a real person and not a robot or telemarketer. But we forgot to snap one. Oh, darn. So feel free to ask Caitlin about the fun we had.
Hello, my name isn't Stacy, but I do know Caitlin. I believe you have the wrong number.
Ha! Nope, my fault. Savannah somehow autocorrected to Stacy. That's not embarrassing at all, LOL.
It's okay, I actually don't use products that test on animals.
Oh, perfect! I think we'll be a great match. If you're an animal lover, I think you'll love this message from our CEO, Daryl Overcash.
Well, that last name is suspicious as heck if I've ever heard it. It's like in the Muppets movie, Ricky Gervais, his character's last name is Bad Guy. Anyway, so I'm not going to bother reading that tiny print because my eyes just couldn't handle it. Anyway, so she reads this whole text, and essentially it has all this BS about how much they love animals and how they're not into testing on animals, but then it does say that they test on animals, just not in the country. In fact, they do it in China, which is still testing on animals, as we're about to read. So if you test on animals in China, you animal test. But thanks again. I just want to know, did the Hunbot read this document that she was sending completely? Like, did she read every bit? Did she know that it said that there was testing done in China? Because I want to hope that maybe she just didn't read the whole thing through and missed that detail somehow. But I kind of get the feeling that this is a known factor. This is probably something that your upline knows, and they only kind of tell you when you need to know, right? Like a need to know basis, and then they kind of teach you how to, I guess for lack of a better term, lie about it, or to omit details until they ask for specific details such as this. But either way, it's absolutely hilarious. For one, getting the name completely wrong. Stacy, when her name is Savannah. And then also not reading the details of her own message, and or she did read it and is just omitting those details. Just, I don't know, maybe they just really don't think that people are going to read these things. I don't know. Either way, this is hilarious. And what a comeback. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, animal testing in China is still animal testing. I don't know where this person thought that was going to make it something different. It doesn't. My wife's cousin is a hun of all trades. This week is coffee.
My friend Blank is looking for product models for her weight loss coffee. Who drinks coffee already and would love to get skinny doing so? Spots will fill fast. Drop an emoji for details.
These diet MLMs, supplement MLMs, they have a special kind of, or I hold a special kind of hatred for them, just because there seems like something so extra terrible and dangerous about supplements, and also not just physically, but also dangerous mentally, emotionally to people, right? Because I don't know, people want to believe, I want to believe there's a supplement you can take that's going to magically make you lose weight, and the truth is it doesn't exist. There isn't a magic weight loss coffee. That doesn't exist. If it did, then the whole world would know about it. Your doctor would be able to prescribe it. It would be a known thing in the world, and it wouldn't need to be peddled in this method, in this multi-level marketing method, right? It wouldn't need to sell itself this way. I don't know. I really dislike that. And I think it's dangerous. And, a lot of these diet MLMs tend to recommend a lot of supplements and a lot of caffeine. And they say these things will give you energy and they make you feel so great. Well, yeah, because you're on tons of milligrams of caffeine, more than you should be. And then I don't know, maybe this coffee is just extra caffeinated coffee, so you're extra jazzed up. I have no idea. Either way, this type of stuff, I just don't like it. It's not funny. It's just, it edges on that line of dangerous, right? Kind of like ingesting essential oils. It's just no, now we've gone from fun to scary. Writing a paper on MLMs, and I tracked down a book I thought would be helpful. Nope, just propaganda. This is something that I've been encountering a lot. When I do some of the deep dive videos, and I end up looking into an MLM specifically, I tend to do a lot of searches on Google looking for articles talking about MLMs, hoping to find a lot of articles talking about why it's bad, or breaking down the business model and explaining it more, weighing out the pros and cons, mostly the cons. But what I found while I was doing a lot of that research was that it's really actually hard to find legitimate anti-MLM information. I mean, it's out there. There are articles. I have linked some in some past videos, and if you guys have any questions and would like to read some articles, I'd be happy to link them again in the description below, or maybe I'd leave them in my channel description just so that they're there for you if you want to look at them. But finding books and stuff like that, and any other kind of information about MLMs as far as truth telling, it's really hard to find. It's pretty much all going to be propaganda. It's all going to be from people who work within the companies somewhere, maybe farther in the upline, and they've been charged with doing a book or doing some kind of lesson plan that's going to be the next big thing that's going to make the people below them become the next biggest CEOs of the world. Because that's really what MLMs want. They just want all of us to be CEOs. Isn't that what equality is all about? Everybody's a CEO. Wait a minute. If everyone's a CEO, then who's working below the CEO to make the money? Oh my gosh, it's a scam. Well, I was going to read this one in the Hunbot voice until I read the very first word and I realized where this post was going, and it's a bit too serious for me to feel good about doing the Hunbot voice. So let's just read it and hopefully we won't get too angry. Cancer. It's my least favorite word. My dad's mom had breast cancer in the 90s. She was fortunate. It was caught early. My mom was diagnosed in 2015 with breast cancer. She went through treatments and seemed to be in the clear for a while, but unfortunately by 2018, it had returned. Yesterday, my sister found out she has colon cancer. She's only 37. I'm just saying, putting those broken heart emojis really makes me feel the full extent of the emotions you have for your sister. Jeez. My genetics may not be so great, but knowledge is power. It's like that started off good, right? That first statement, those first two sentences, not bad. My genetics may not be so great. Well, I guess it's a not exactly grammatically correct, but it doesn't matter. That first statement, my genetics may not be great, but knowledge is power. That's true for everyone, but that's where it stops making sense. I can get the screenings I need often and early with such family history. I can take care of my body. Yes and yes. And I am so grateful to have supplements that reduce inflammation. Check out this story. I'm a friend of a friend. Trina, friend of a friend. Yeah, that sounds legitimate. The science below is so exciting to me. Trina is super smart and amazing. She has a PhD in molecular biology. I just love her. And this photo was posted just like this, so I didn't actually get the science below it, so I have no idea what it is, but I'm sure it's garbage. So, well, I'm glad she's not making any kind of claim that her supplements can anyway help cure cancer. I'm glad to read that she's not making such ridiculous claims. However, it does seem like she's kind of thumbing her nose to her family with that whole, like, my genetics may not be so great, but at least I'm taking the supplement, so I'm gonna, like, not get cancer because her inflammation's been reduced. Ugh. If I were her mom or her sister and I saw this, I would be so mad. I'd be so mad. I'd be like, what are you doing? Oh, keep my name and my business out of your mouth and off your Facebook feed. What are you doing? Oh, and I love how she loves Trina because she's a molecular biologist. Like, that's absolutely wonderful. Great. And, molecular biologists, to get a PhD in that, that's a lot of schooling. You have to be a decent big brain for that. But as we've discovered with this whole MLM journey, is that a lot of these MLMs, like Young Living, for example, and others, they use doctors who are legitimate doctors who have gone to school. They have a PhD. They're Dr. So-and-so with a whole bunch of other letters after their name. Like, they will have legitimate, quote unquote, medical people. But that doesn't mean anything, right? These people could still be brilliant people medically. They could have made it through med school, but they might still believe some ridiculous stuff, okay? They might believe that supplements can reduce inflammation to prevent cancer. They might believe that certain essential oils can reduce the production of cancer cells. I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm kind of randomly picking things here, obviously, but I think you guys understand what I'm saying. Okay, this triggered me. I'm sorry. Oh, we got that Arbonne Mercedes. Here we go.
You are looking at the newest Arbonne area manager. This level, I will be making $1,000 to $4,000 a month. Yes, I said that, a month. And my business now becomes willable.
They like to use that word. You guys remember I had an Arbonne video several videos back. God, time's beginning to blur together. But this willable word popped up then, and I thought that was very strange. Okay.
This is huge. I don't say this to impress you, but to impress upon you that this works.
Wow. She really used the English language to its full potential there.
And to answer everyone's question, no, I didn't get a Mercedes, but I will someday soon. Watch me.
Why would anyone want to watch you go buy a car? Nobody wants to watch you go buy a Mercedes. No.
The white Mercedes-Benz is the company car that Arbonne just gives us for doing our jobs. Next step, new car. I'm coming for you.
Okay, we all learned recently about being a Mercedes-Benz fleet partner and how just about anybody can do that. It's just a matter of essentially filling out some paperwork and bada bing, bada boom, ta-da, you're a fleet partner. It means really nothing. It just means like you're going to buy their cars, or maybe you'll get like a package deal or a package leasing deal thing, but they're not giving you a car. You don't get a car, right? We've all learned you don't get a car. They might help you buy it. Maybe they're going to help you with the down payment, or they're going to do something maybe, but no, that car is going to be your financial responsibility. And then I've heard stories of people like at the end, like I think it was a Mary Kay post, and it was someone who was leaving the company because they had failed out of it, and they had to sell the vehicle, to sell the really nice Mary Kay Cadillac or whatever it is. I think it's a pink Cadillac. Yeah. They had to sell the Cadillac themselves, and it was a huge ordeal. They had to get it repainted, and they had to sell it for practically the full price because they need the money. Let's just finish reading this post.
Arbonne has changed my life, you guys, and I don't take that statement lightly. Not only am I using the safest, most pure, and beneficial products out there, but I am changing others' lives as well. All while making a side income I never thought I could have. If you have been skeptical before, well, guess what? So was I. But guys, I am proof that this works. I would absolutely love to give you what Arbonne has given me. Fall is the time for change. Let's do this together.
Yeah, she's like, become my downline, hurry, become my downline so I can go ahead and get this car and then have to pay for it, and it's not mine, but it'll be mine. I can make a post that makes it look like it's mine, and everyone's gonna think this is my Mercedes. Go ahead, become my downline so I can get a Mercedes, yay. That's the worst business model. How is that supposed to attract people to you? Like, oh yeah, they want to come work for you so that you can go get a Mercedes. Wow, that's enticing. This is so ridiculous. Ooh, an Herbalife storefront in the mall. Okay, so I've seen pictures of during those little like artisan craft fairs that some MLM companies and distributors have managed to sneak their way into those. Well, I thought that was kind of it, that they were maybe just kind of like filling up the hallway space in the malls, but it looks like they're able to afford spaces, which most likely means that the mall is losing a lot of money and maybe it has cheaper rent and it might be a little desperate. I don't know if you guys watch Retail Archaeology or if you're into that kind of stuff. The channel, that guy's awesome. He just goes to malls and explores like malls that are dying and kind of reminisces about how great malls used to be back in the day. It's really fun. I don't know. It's good ambient listening. He always has fun kind of vintage video game music in the background. It's, I don't know. Or like weird 80s store music that's really fun and nostalgic to hear. Anyway, I would like him if... I know he doesn't watch my videos and he'll never hear this. I'm like a nobody. It's totally fine. But I would love if he were to do some kind of, study, some kind of investigation onto what's happening in the malls with the MLM kind of infiltration, because he's like the mall guy, he's like, when you need questions about what's happening to the malls of America and the malls throughout this nation, he's the guy to go to. Well, especially in the Southwest, because he lives in Arizona, so a lot of the malls he goes to are in that area, which is kind of cool. But I would be really curious to see if he could do some research on this and maybe explain to the rest of us plebeians what this means for the future of malls, because I don't know, this makes me feel very suspicious that the mall isn't doing so well if this is who they're allowing to rent out their spaces, like something like Herbalife that is in and out of court cases, right? They're in and out of, they're always getting things thrown at them. There's always people coming forward and saying like Herbalife ruined my life, or et cetera, et cetera. So it's odd to see that the mall would dare partner with them. So I'm curious. Retail archaeology, where are you? You're the big brain here on this one. Help. All right, we're about to get into some AdvoCare stuff, and you guys, just a little bit of a trigger warning in this. If you have ever struggled with any kind of disordered eating of any sort, then this might be slightly triggering to you, in which case I would recommend maybe passing on this one, and I will just see you all in the next video. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it now that the disclaimer is out of the way. The real cost of MLMs, how I lost everything to AdvoCare. In the wake of the FTC ruling against AdvoCare, I wanted to share my experience. This story is an expanded version of this comment I made on this post the other day, and they did hyperlink it there, so you can check it out if you do want to go onto Reddit and see it. But I was asked to go into more depth about my experience, so I decided to make a standalone post about it. I hope anyone involved in an MLM realizes that the ones who lose only money are the lucky ones. My wife always struggled with her image. She was beautiful and perfect in my eyes, but never her own. She was small and petite, but struggled with alcohol. She was a small woman, so every 7 to 10 pounds she gained would show. She would freak out about it every 6 weeks or so. She would then hit the gym for 4 to 6 weeks, get in great shape, and then quit going and start the whole cycle over again. For the record, she never weighed more than 120 pounds, and I never once found her unattractive. Sadly, the voice in her head wouldn't listen to my praise, and my opinion was often dismissed as soon as I would give it. She was always trying new cleanses and fad diets, Atkins, fasting, the lemon cayenne pepper thing, Weight Watchers, you name it. She never stuck with any of them, but it made her feel good to try, and I was happy when she was happy. She was my wife, and I loved her. I would have given her the world if it was mine to give. But when she came home excited about this cleanse her friend had talked to her about called AdvoCare, I was happy for her. She seemed recharged and motivated, so I supported her fully. Now, I should mention her issue with drinking. She drank frequently. To be fair, we both drank quite a bit. It was our early 20s after all. When we reached 25 to 26 years old, I started drinking less, but she did not. At one point, I was cleaning her car out and found a half-empty bottle of vodka under her driver's seat. When I asked her about it, she told me it was for her to put in her coffee before class. Her class was at 7:30 a.m., and she often worked after. Yikes. At this point, I realized she had a real problem. She wasn't partying with me because we were young. She didn't know how else to be. I was heartbroken, so I hope it's clear why I fully supported her MLM dreams at the start. Anything that would help/motivate her to stay sober and healthy was something I would back her on 100%. On day 3 of her first cleanse, she felt great. She was high energy, smiling, super positive. I was elated. I didn't know if the $500 we had spent was going to be worth it, but the look on her face after a month was worth 100 times that in my eyes. I had noticed her abs were starting to get more defined. She was a petite woman, so after a 10 to 15 pound weight loss, she always looked like she was in great shape. My dad asked me if I thought AdvoCare was really helping her, or if they were magic beans. I told him, look how happy she is. Does it really matter? At this point, she made the choice that this was going to be her job, and she wanted to continue to live this healthier lifestyle. We invested money, and she took the lead on the business, and I happily took the products because it made her so happy to see me do so. All I wanted was for her to be happy and healthy, and she was, for a while. Things were pretty good for about 18 months. We argued about the business on occasion. I wasn't sold on the MLM model, so I tried to limit our financial exposure. It was a source of tension, but she had been sober and healthy the entire time, so the occasional disagreement was well worth it to me, and I let it go most of the time. I mean, hey, we had spent more money in way dumber ways, so what's the problem if it helps her stay sober and healthy? I didn't realize how obsessed she had gotten with her business until I discovered she had opened a credit card at another bank and had racked up $5,000 in debt investing in her business, since I wasn't being supportive of her. The only reason I found out about the card was because she wasn't able to make the payments anymore without my help. I found out later that her mentor/upline had told her to open the card behind my back because he will understand when you guys are rich. You will both be able to quit your jobs. Basically, she fell for everything, hook, line, and sinker. She was so deep into the lifestyle of it all that she began to view me as a second to her business. The Huns would use every argument we had as fuel for the anyone who doesn't support your dreams doesn't belong in your life argument. Oh, audible groan. Then came the day that my life would take a sharp turn, and I never saw it coming. It started with me when telling her about some investments I wanted to make for the two of us. She told me that AdvoCare was an investment in our future and was insulted that I thought we needed a more diverse financial plan. She was fully against spending any money that didn't go directly into her business. The next day, she was at her upline's house for a mixer, AdvoCare talk for awkward sales pitch in someone's living room. She stayed after and talked to her mentor / upline lady about the argument we had about the IRAs and mutual funds. The upline lady was no fool. She told my wife that it was a good idea that I wanted to do that, and that a car works better with 4 wheels instead of 1. That's surprisingly sound advice. She came home that evening and told me that I was right and then we should do this. I was delighted and asked if her thinking about it overnight helped. She replied, "No, upline lady told me that her and her husband invest outside AdvoCare too, so I think it's a good idea." My heart sank. I realized in that moment that her upline and AdvoCare had way more influence over her life than I did after 7 years together. I realized that none of my ideas, thoughts, or feelings were valid in her eyes, and she had run them by her upline for their approval. I realized that the woman I married and cared for didn't view me as her partner and best friend anymore, but as someone who was holding her back and tearing down her dreams. We divorced about a year later, about 2 years after she has discovered AdvoCare. As far as I know, she is still sober and using products. I heard through the grapevine that she was doing well and still shilling her magic beans. But hey, if she is genuinely happy with her life, I'm happy for her. As for me, I didn't do so well. I spiraled pretty hard. I'm still not over it. The lies, the betrayal, it left me broken. I'm still trying to pick up the pieces of my life. I miss her every day. I miss my house. I miss my dog. I hate that I can't trust anymore. I hate that I'm afraid to have meaningful relationships. And I hate when I see my friends fall for those pyramid schemes. F all MLMs who pit spouses against each other over money. F AdvoCare for stealing away my wife and best friend. Seriously, F MLMs. Wow. That's a really intense story, and I am so sorry that you had to go through with that. And I know it's not going to be any comfort to you when I say this, but I can promise you her happiness and how well it's going with the business, it is temporary. It might only, I mean, it could last another few years. It could be over in 2 weeks. These things don't last long, and especially with all the stuff coming out about AdvoCare and everything's so transparent now. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. People have to be honest about it. I mean, well, they don't have to be. People don't like being honest in general. It's difficult. But you know, oh, I just feel so bad for this guy. I really do. Or woman. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just assuming, so forgive me. But this person, I really feel so bad for them. They were so supportive of their wife, and that's wonderful. You know, you hear about that in relationships of people complaining that their partners weren't supportive of them and that was so soul crushing. Well, in this case, this woman had it. She had somebody who was willing to support her dreams for the sake of her health and happiness, and she threw it all away for her upline. Ooh, it like makes me kind of want to cry. Like, I'm kind of an emotional adult as it is. The older I get, the more I kind of feel randomly tears just kind of pop out for no real reason. It's super fun. Any of you other ladies out there who hit your 30s, you know what I'm talking about. You understand. And I know ladies in their 40s and 50s, I get it. It only gets worse. Okay. I know. But this is really sad and it's just awful. And you know, there's going to be more stories like this now that this AdvoCare thing is kind of out in the open. We're going to start seeing a lot more stories like this, unfortunately. And I just want to say to this person, I know that you're feeling terrible right now, and I'm really sorry, but trust me, you are better off right now. And the fact that your wife, whom you loved, and I'm so sorry, but the fact that your wife chose the business over you, in time, you will see that as a gift, as a way for you to really move on, because you will be able to see, wow, she didn't actually really care about me at all, and I wasn't really that important, and you know what, to heck with that. I'm important to me, and I'm going to take care of myself, and you will be much better for it in the end. Whereas I hate to say it, but unfortunately the years to come for her are going to be harder. They're going to get more difficult, and it sounds like she has other issues that she has not totally dealt with. It sounds like she has possibly some disordered eating. It sounds like she might have some issues with drinking. And I don't want to point fingers because everybody has something, right? Everybody's got some issues somewhere. It's just human nature. We are what we are. We are flawed beings, and that is absolutely fine. But it sounds like she has some bigger issues that she wasn't dealing with. And you really did the best you could. I can't think of anything else you could have done. Honestly, I think a lot of people would agree with me in saying that you probably went farther than a lot of people would with this. So I hope wherever you are, I hope you're doing fine. And if you happen to come across this video, I think you're awesome. And you're going to find somebody one day who realizes what a great catch you are. And until that person comes, just know that you are great and be awesome for yourself. And I'm so sorry that AdvoCare did this to your life. It's time for everyone's favorite segment of the video. It's time for the wholesome moment of the day. Let's see who you guys sent over. First up, we have these two best friends, and this was sent over by Wendy Lee. Thank you so much, Wendy Lee, for sending this. On the left is Sapphire the kitten. She's 2 years old and is a rescue from a pregnant feral mother. She's very talkative and loves to groom her best friend Hula, who she's hugging. Hula is a sweet chihuahua who was rescued as a puppy. Hula loves to show off her mad skills, rolling over, giving high fives, dancing, and kissing noses for her favorite treats. Wow. Those two are inseparable and follow each other around everywhere. It's adorable. Oh my gosh, it really is. I honestly, I clicked on this photo and I opened it and I just went, oh, like by myself in my kitchen at 8 a.m. in the morning. This is the type of healthy stuff I need in my life. Next up, we have Ruby, who is this beautiful, gorgeous, lovely albino California king snake and less than a year old. She is stunning. She's almost 2 feet long and growing bigger daily. She's very inquisitive and licks me when I hold her. Her favorite activity is licking water off the leaves of her habitat. You know, it does sound very nice and relaxing. I can understand that. Yeah, I like you, Ruby. You and I have a lot in common. I too enjoy licking water off of my habitat. What? And next up we have Moo, and if I forgot to say with Ruby, all of these photos were sent over by Wendy Lee today, so forgive me for not saying that sooner. These are all Wendy Lee's babies. So next up we have Moo, so cute. I just want to like scratch those cheeks. Moo is a 9-year-old long hair furball. She thinks she's human and loves cuddles and watching the wind blow in the bushes from her favorite window. You know what my mom calls windows for cats? Cat TV, because that's what it is. They just sit there and stare at like wind moving things, and it's very exciting. On the top left corner of the picture, you can see Ruby, the Jedi, coming down into frame, sticking her tongue in out of curiosity. Normally, Ruby is behind glass and is never close enough to the others for investigation, so she was a little interested here. All of these creatures are my superheroes. Oh, thank you so much, Wendy Lee, for sending this over. It was really fun to see your little menagerie. And if you're looking to get a new member of your family, I definitely recommend to Adopt Not Shop. Check out your local shelters, your local humane societies, donate if you can, volunteer if you can, and don't forget to spay and neuter your pets. And if you want to see a photo of your pets here, then go and send it to my email, which is in my channel description. It's also theburrowingfox@gmail.com. Go ahead and send me an email, and you will see your pets here eventually. Alright, Fox Trotters, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked that video, please hit that like button down below. If you have any good comments or suggestions, please leave it down below as well. I love to hear what you have to say, and I love interacting with you all. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and become a Fox Trotter. Come join the den. Den Mother would love to have you. And I'm going to link my Patreon here somewhere, so feel free to check that out. And if not, no big deal. I'm just glad you came to spend some time with me. Alright, folks, we have crossed over 4,000 subscribers. Mind is blown. I am obscenely grateful. Thank you all so much for spending time with me here in my little kitchen as I sit here and record these. I am just so flattered and honored that you all choose to spend a little time with me here and there, every other day, and so on. You guys are absolutely wonderful. I love you all, and until the next video, take care.